The AI news cycle right now is it's absolutely relentless. Keeping up can literally feel like drinking from a fire hose. But welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to synthesize this massive wave of recent developments and uncover the real, overarching structural trends that are actually driving the entire industry forward. We're going to look at exactly where the technology is heading, who's building it, and how it's rapidly being regulated.
So here's the agenda for today. We've thoughtfully curated this information to take you on a thematic journey through 5 massive shifts defining the state of AI. First, the billion-user AI race. 2, the big infrastructure shift. 3, the global AI battlefield. 4, agents, enterprise, and upgrades. And finally, number 5, new rules and security. Okay, let's jump right into section 1, the billion-user AI race and how these tools are scaling to the masses. We just witnessed a truly historic tie in the tech world. ChatGPT recently announced they hit 1 billion weekly active users. And literally just days apart, Google announced Gemini crossed 1 billion monthly active users. This completely reframes the whole AI adoption story, right? The frontier isn't just about which model is marginally smarter anymore. The real frontier right now is scale, reach, and habitual use. These tools aren't just fun novelties. They are becoming foundational layers of our daily lives. If you've used a chatbot at all this week, you are part of a staggering new normal for a massive chunk of the global population.
And the way we're actually interacting with this new normal, that's fundamentally transforming too. Check this out. A staggering 63% of Gemini's billion users are engaging via voice. 63%. We are literally moving away from the keyboard. Think about it. When was the last time you typed out a massive full query when you could just talk to your phone? And alongside this huge voice adoption, the platform is generating over 150 million images every single day. This tells us the interaction paradigm has totally shifted toward multimodal, conversational, and visual engagement at a scale we have simply never seen before.
Moving on to section 2, the big infrastructure shift and why owning the hardware is the new mandate. So to support 1 billion multimodal users, you need an absolutely unimaginable amount of computing power. And this leads us directly to a critical shift in how these top-tier AI companies are operating. Enter Theseus. Anthropic is actually teamed up with Macquarie Asset Management and Singapore's GIC to launch this brand new joint venture. The goal here is to develop and lease purpose-built U.S. data centers specifically for Anthropic under long-term agreements. This is a massive, massive structural shift. They're strategically moving beyond traditional cloud rentals. They aren't just buying compute time anymore. They're orchestrating the very facilities that house the servers. Actually, it goes even deeper. Anthropic is now stepping in to cover electricity grid upgrades. That is a colossal capital commitment. They're transitioning from being just a cloud tenant who pays rent to an infrastructure co-owner taking direct responsibility for the power grid itself. This mirrors the major physical footprint moves we've already seen from giants like OpenAI and Google. The underlying reality of modern AI is this. Whoever controls the raw physical infrastructure and those crucial power grid connections essentially controls the future of the technology.
That brings us to section 3, the global AI battlefield, where disruptors are rapidly rising. Those billion-user platforms in the US we just talked about, well, they're facing incredibly fierce international competition. 7.1 trillion. That is not a yearly projection. That is the weekly token volume currently being driven by just one model, DeepSeek's V4 Flash. Just to put that staggering number into perspective, global weekly AI token usage just crossed 56.8 trillion total. So DeepSeek V4 Flash is commanding a massive slice of that entire global pie all by itself, recently taking the #1 spot on OpenRouter's weekly token rankings. Looking at this impartially, we are observing a huge shift in the global leaderboards. Chinese AI models recently claimed 9 of the top 10 global slots on OpenRouter. Take Alibaba's Kind model, it's proving that massive open-weight models can easily compete on a global scale. It offers an incredible 1 million token context window powered by 2.4 trillion parameters, and they managed to keep latency and cost way down by only keeping roughly 95 billion parameters active per request. Clever, right? Meanwhile, Minimex took a totally different route, releasing its H3 video model as open source, but they're using complex licensing strategies that actually impose restrictions on users in major overseas markets like the US and EU. This perfectly illustrates the intense copyright and regulatory chess match happening globally in generative AI right now. Let's dive into Section 4, Agents, Enterprise, and Upgrades. It is all about iterating at speed.
To keep those billions of global users hooked and to fend off all this rising competition, these companies are executing rapid-fire product updates. And this relentless iteration touches literally every workflow you can imagine. Anthropic is building localized lesson planning tools with Claude for Teachers, which dynamically incorporates academic standards across all 50 states. OpenAI is dropping a native Linux app for developers with Codex. SpaceX AI rolled out a public beta for Grokbot, which is an autonomous workflow tool designed to act like a whole team of AI agents working for you all day. Over on the enterprise side, ChatGPT Business added premium seats, giving power users 5 times the usage without any of those annoying 5-hour caps. And creatively, XAI launched Image 2.0 Quality Mode as the default, bringing true designer-level typography planning. It's like the tools are upgrading overnight.
Finally, Section 5, New Rules and Security, setting guardrails for this explosive growth.
As these incredibly powerful multimodal tools integrate into our essential workflows at such an astronomical scale, the old era of move fast and break things is running headfirst into strict legal frameworks. Illinois has just raised the regulatory bar significantly. They've become the first state to mandate independent, third-party audits of frontier AI models through their AI Safety Measures Act. This is a real game changer because it moves the legal requirement way beyond the simple disclosure-only rules we've seen in places like California and New York. It's no longer just about telling people what the AI does. Companies now have to legally prove it's safe through external validation.
If we map out the timeline, we can see this security tightening happening in real time. In August 2026, ChatGPT Enterprise completely locked down its ecosystem, stopping new individual user syncs on August 10th, and then disabling existing user-authorized connections for connected apps by August 14th. They're forcing everything through admin-managed channels. But then, looking further out to August 2027, the European Union's Digital Markets Act is mandating that Google open up 11 core Android features to competing AI agents. So we're seeing this fascinating simultaneous push to heavily lock down enterprise data, while at the exact same time forcibly prying open consumer ecosystems to competition. And while regulators are looking from the outside in, the AI labs are frantically building internal defenses. OpenAI is expanding its Daybreak cyber defense program to vetted organizations. They're actively trying to get frontier cybersecurity-capable models into the hands of trusted defenders before malicious adversaries can exploit any gaps. Simultaneously, Anthropic is now embedding invisible, persistent watermarks in all text generated by new Claude models. These marks even survive copying and pasting, which ensures complete built-in compliance with the EU AI Act's transparency code. So we are watching 2 massive opposing forces collide right in front of us. On one side, companies are racing at breakneck speed to capture billions of daily habitual users with autonomous agents and huge infrastructure investments. On the other side, governments are imposing strict, mandatory third-party safety audits, forcing interoperability and requiring invisible tracking. As these tools become just as common as the smartphone in your pocket, how will these incoming strict safety audits ultimately reshape the AI you rely on every day? Keep that in mind the next time you open your favorite chatbot. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and stay curious. This space is moving faster than ever.